Welcome back to the channel. Listen, you know big times are ahead when they start making upgrades, they start making updates to the XRP ledger. We have Brad Garlinghouse even chiming in, breaking his silence on what's going on. I always ask the question, why now? Why now? They have to speed up the upgrades because the businesses want it. The banks want it. Remember last year, and this is how it all begins. This is the beginning. Remember last year, I believe it was Brad Garlinghouse. You can look this up for yourself. And Brad Garlinghouse was talking about when they were thinking about implementing the special mechanisms on the XRPL. You know, that's where you get like payment channels, etc. You can go to XRPL. I believe it's xrpl.org. Check those out because a lot of those, I don't know if they're still there. They should be. A lot of those you can only use XRP with those. Cheaper, faster. You can break up the payments, but they're still considered one payment. Things like that. A lot of very advanced features. That's what's going to bring a continuity of value because the banks love it. The businesses love it. It makes everything better for them. But we have this happening. This article is titled Ripple CEO Breaks Silence on Huge Progress for the XRP Ledger. Of course, because he's excited. The combination of let's say Ripple, SBI, Uphold trying to bring in companies, bringing in business. And then you have this on the XRPL, these builders of the XRPL, upgrading everything, making it stronger, making it better, making it cheaper, making it faster, giving them more things to play with, more options to utilize. It's a beautiful thing when it comes to money making. I don't know about you, but I'm here to make some major capital. Now, I'm not going to listen. We've done pretty good already. You want to be real, but no, we're waiting on that massive explosion. Not financial advice, of course. Hit that like button. Boom, boom. Let your finger, I won't say little finger. Let that powerful finger of yours touch that button. But folks, they know it's time. They have to get all this done. I say in the next half a year to a year, everything has to start deploying. Boom, 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 boom. The businesses. Did you see the article we covered in the video yesterday? Hopefully you guys saw the video yesterday. Just check out that one article where they're talking about, I think it was I believe it was yesterday's video. If not, it's the one before that. But there's an article where they're talking about how many companies are doing XRP treasuries. It was like 8 or more. Check the article out for yourself. Get the actual numbers. That's only going to increase. That number is going to go up. There's no doubt in my mind. Astronomically so. Where most people doubt, and you're going to hear a lot of doubt. There's going to be a lot of fear as the number starts going up. Just like it's always that way. I'm not telling you anything that's new. The fear and then the projection of the fear is going to be massive. That's how you know. Then the time period is about to be special. And then it skyrockets and doubters are silenced. Maybe not. I don't know. But it seems like it's that way. Okay, let me read you this little tidbit. This is very exciting. I get excited. I just do. It begins here. Ripple CEO finally speaks on update everyone in XRP community is watching. Let me scroll down past the ads. I'm not mad at it. Get your money. Right? This is from U.Today. Make your money. RippleX has released a major update for the XRP ledger, and developers are calling it the, quote, strongest single lineup of amendments, unquote, they have ever put into one release. Why? Why is it all happening now? They're getting ready. Everyone knows there's a whole bunch of banks, commercial and central, waiting to use the XRPL. A whole bunch of companies. Just do your research. You're gonna see. Whole lot of companies waiting to use the XRPL. Not only that, when we did the video, maybe 2-3 videos back, if you didn't see it, go check out that article. You can go right to the video and then pause it on the article, the little clip, and then type it into Google, pull up the article yourself. But the article that says 73% of businesses are still using paper to make payments, that was some of the biggest news we could have gotten. That means they're not into crypto yet. They're not into DLT yet, which means there's a wave of capital waiting to come in. They can't stay back. The BIS already told them, you can You can't continue to do things like this. You're going to fall behind. What's fall behind me? They're going to suffer. They'll probably collapse. They'll probably have to close down. They're going to lose tons of capital. Competition who is using DLT will absolutely thrash them. No disrespect, but that's the visualization I like to draw. But let's continue here. RippleX has released a major update for the XRP ledger, and developers are calling it the strongest single lineup. Okay, we read that part. Version 2.5.0 of the network's core software, Rippled, is now live. And it is not just another round of patches. All right, let's scroll down past another ad, make your money. I am not mad at that. Can I have some of those ads? Some of that ad. It's just business, folks. I'm just saying. This upgrade brings in new features that people have been waiting for, fixes some edge cases that have been an issue for a while, and shows the hard work that loads of different teams have put in. Even Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, I like a little bit more specificity. You want to be honest. I would like a little bit more clarity on what's what, how it works, how it functions. But you could probably just look into it, right? You can go to their website. Even Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse got involved, publicly applauding the work and calling it, quote, huge progress. And every time he speaks, I listen closely, because when Garlinghouse is talking, he has partnerships in the back of his mind. He has maxing out XRP's price in the back of his mind, probably at the forefront of his mind. The man has an XRP tattoo, and he's from the old school. Folks, I know these days people get all these different tattoos, doesn't really hold much meaning. They just do it just to be cool. But where the era that we come from, when you get a tattoo, it means something. You get your mother's name. You get the branch of the U.S. military you came from on your ankle or something like that. Listen, it means something. He got XRP tattooed on him. And every chance he gets, he's talking about how good XRP is. It's the best of the best. He's praising it to the sky. It means something. I mean, hey, we have a lot of little pieces of the puzzle to put together, I'm telling you. But that's just my humble opinion. You could disagree. But you don't do that if you don't love and believe in a certain thing. One great thing we have added is token escrow. Who's that for? Who's going to be using that the most? You tell me. Just let me know. Token escrow, which lets you use escrow with IOUs and multi-purpose tokens. Once again, folks, who do you believe is going to be using this? You know the answer. You know the answer. Embrace it. We're living through a glorious time period, the golden age. They're even using my verbiage now. I have an article here. They titled it the golden age of crypto. I've been saying that for the longest time. You know why they're using it? Because it's true. There is no denying it. There's no way anyone with eyes to see and ears to hear can deny the golden age of crypto is coming. We're just at the doorstep. The door's just cracking open. We get past a few more barriers, and it's time to unleash. And then you'll know when it's unleashed. That next year, after it's unleashed, year or two, it should be beautiful. It's my humble opinion, not financial advice. Let's keep going. It says batch is another key feature that lets you group and execute transactions in a single step. Wait a minute, that sounds like that other mechanism, which could make complex DApp operations much simpler. Well, okay, let me put my other thought to the side. Think about that for a minute. Another key feature that lets you group and execute transactions in a single step. Is that not useful in the banking industry? I think it would be. Is that not useful when it comes to large businesses? I think it would be. Wait a minute. They allows you to group and execute transactions in a single step. That wouldn't be useful when it comes to payroll, would it? You think they tested out payroll mechanisms all those years ago? 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was? And they're just going to let that go, knowing that payroll systems everywhere need an upgrade, need to be more efficient, better. Come on now. You know where this is going. Big money, big. You have to have that continuity. You have to have the payroll. You have to have interbank payments. You have to have B2B payments of all kinds. That continuity makes that price go high and stay high. It doesn't come back down. It doesn't. Not to say it won't have its volatility. There's always going to probably be that little volatility there, but the price, it will not make a difference for those who are in early, in my humble opinion. I only speak for myself and not to convince anyone of anything. But there's that tiny little volatility. The prices will never come back down to where they are now because they'll be propped up. Once again, take a look at gold. We had an article I read the other day. We covered on the channel, and they laid it out so brilliantly of how central bank buying has propped up the price of gold. Whenever you have these serious entities, banks, large businesses, now, and we had an article we read in the last week about SMEs and SMBs in DLT. Folks, that is a great continuity to have, and they're there for the taking. They denied all the advances upon them of the legacy system, so they don't want them. They're clearly waiting on DLT. It's cheaper, faster, better, more affordable for them, can loosen up capital for them. Plus, they don't have any strings, like they're not being Pinocchioed like most are who deal with these particular entities. They want to be free. And then they have global reach as well. They'll have that for the first time ever. Everyone will have an opportunity at global reach. And I'm going to think that the initial offerings of these mechanisms and programs, et cetera, whatever they're going to call them, it's going to be highly affordable to be competitive. Who knows what it's going to be later, but while it is affordable, everybody is going to be jumping in at the same time, I would think. And that should cause, theoretically, a rapid rise. Once we have deployment, of course, mass deployment and utilization, that should theoretically cause a rapid rise in a lot of these prices. And many of these Bitcoin companies are doing a great job right now, especially bringing in the larger businesses. It almost appears, and I believe that it's probably just facile how this is appearing, but it almost looks like they're starting at the top and then, they're working their way down. And maybe one of the reasons for that, and what makes me think of that is just seeing what Chainlink is doing, seeing what Solana, the interest that Solana has drummed up in those entities talking about these particular things, as well as XRP as well. Just to name a few. I think they know that the SMEs and SMBs, I think that they know that that's going to be easy, folks. I believe it's going to be easy. I do. They're hurting so badly right now. They're struggling. Another thing that DLT can help with, if they're going to be integrating any very good AI systems into their operations, which I believe they are. We read an article. Ripple is definitely making some strides there for sure. They definitely are putting their money where their mouth is, investing a little bit. That's what it is when you invest in universities that are making AI on the XRPL. That's what it is. But let's say they implement some very, very good AI on there. It's going to help those businesses, not only with cost, but also with the struggle of reaching new customers. Advertising. A lot of businesses that are, for lack of a better word, they're old school. They don't know the proper way to advertise in this day and age. It's very difficult for those who are big spenders. You have to reach the big spenders, period. AI can help with that. Smart contracts can ensure the payments come to you without you having to do too much work. You see how that goes? That flows beautifully together. But they can do a little search, or, and the system can bring up different advertising mechanisms that actually are potent and work, or suggestions like one, one way I see a lot of people doing it very, very effective is reaching out to, and a lot of businesses do not do this, even though it's not that difficult. Reaching out to some of these, like, what do they call these people? Like influencers, where they literally make it their business to promote things. That's what they do. They promote things. AI can bring up a list of those. AI can maybe write some email or something. I don't know. It can do that. It can bring you those entities, that information. Whereas they would be just brick and mortar stores, a lot of stores, just brick and mortar. They don't really have a very powerful online presence. You and I both seen that. They don't know about that kind of stuff. They don't know about advertising on YouTube or TikTok, where all the people are, or advertising on in Instagram, etc. They don't know about that. They haven't utilized those things. Those things can be powerful. They can be powerful. All right. So, but AI can do that for them now, as opposed to, AI can do it. I'm just going to leave it there. This changes everything. The little pieces of the puzzle that we've been putting together changes everything. One, what they're doing in Japan, Ripple with the universities that are building AI on the XRPL. That's huge. They gave you a glimpse. From that, we can extrapolate bigger ideas out of what may potentially come out of that. That's what brainstorming is. That's what it being a good detective is. Don't make no mistake about it. What's the difference between a researcher and detective? Is the same thing. Same thing. You know, my grandfather was a very, very good detective. Period. You know, I remember my father telling me stories about him, etc. Him and his brother. So I believe I know what a good detective is. A good detective and a researcher, same thing. We're looking for evidence. We're looking for clues. We're trying to tie things together. We're trying to figure something out. You know. So now, just before we move on, and we're going to move on here, but great things happening for the XRPL, looking great. Before I say that, look, man, show everybody that you love. Show them that love. Don't hold it back. I wish I had actually. My grandfather was long gone before I was born, but I wish I had met him to be able to talk to him about, you know, things like research and detective work. What does he think about it? What's his technique? What's his mentality really like? Like, you have to feel someone's mentality, you know? Are we similar? I don't even know. I just know what my father's told me, but that's different than experiencing the presence of someone. You know what I mean? So, people, I can't tell you what to do, but while you have the time, man, if you love someone, show them the love. Don't hold it back. Have conversation with them. Share your wisdom with them if they're willing to hear. And if you're willing to listen, hear them out as well. There may be something you can gain from that. If not wisdom, love. Hey, I only speak for myself. I can't tell you what to do. So now let's go to a little bit of Bitcoin news. All right. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. I appreciate every single one of you. I mean it. I'm at a point in my life I could just tell the truth 100%. I don't feel any pressure from anybody. I appreciate you. All right. Boom. Now don't get soft on me. This article here. No, I'm putting it on you. I know. But that's how we move here. We have a good time, don't we? Now, U.S. home mortgage regulator considers Bitcoin amid housing crisis. The head of the FHFA, that's one of the reasons I stopped covering. I remember I used to cover a lot of this kind of stuff here with housing and stuff like that. It's just, oh man, I don't like to stay in a negative energy. Even just sometimes with information, it just never gets better. I don't like negative energy. I can handle it, sure, but do I want to, bathe in it? Absolutely not. So I don't cover it as much anymore. But let's talk about this. The head of the FHFA said his agency is considering how Bitcoin is counted and qualifying for a mortgage. The fact that they're thinking about Bitcoin is a great thing, in my opinion. I want everyone thinking about Bitcoin. I want them all thinking about XRP, Hedera. We'll get there. It starts here, though. Bitcoin's the door opener. All right. That's great. Let them think. Let them get familiar with it. They're getting comfortable with Bitcoin, hearing about it, thinking about it, dealing with it. The U.S. Federal Home Loan Regulator is looking into how crypto holdings could help mortgage seekers qualify for home loans. The move comes amid a decline in the number of mortgage applications in recent years as the U.S. experiences a housing crisis. So much I want to say. I'm trying not to, but I have to say this. Along with all the traditional things that are not going so well with housing, they have to take into account when they're interviewing thousands of young people, and the young people are saying, hey, we don't see a benefit in owning a home. We want apartments. That was flabbergasting to me. But listen, I suppose they have their reasons. So you have to take that into how do you bring them back? What do you need to do? And then start doing some of those things. But let's continue on here. In a statement on X on June 23rd, Bill Pult, head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, said his agency will, quote, study the usage of cryptocurrency holdings as it relates to qualifying for mortgages, unquote. Home ownership has remained relatively stable over the last 50 years in the U.S., with around 62% of the population owning homes. However, the number of new applicants has seen a sharp decline in recent years. Once again, like I said, the research is out there. Look it up. I'm not joking around whatsoever. They did a multitude of polls and interviews with a lot of the young people, and they were saying how they view home ownership as a huge burden, and they would rather live in apartments, and they had their reasons. So once again, I feel like they need to take that into account. While some boutique lenders already allow borrowers to use their crypto as collateral, study and acknowledge from the FHFA would represent a major step forward for crypto adoption. See, I told you, it's a great thing to have that on their mind. This is going to push things forward. Now they have to figure it out. They're forced to, particularly amid flagging mortgage application numbers. Well, it's not just, once again, so let's say you allow them to utilize crypto to any degree, but you're still going to make those application numbers go back up. You're still going to have to figure out how to bring them back, what lures them back in, if you can even bring them back in. But that has to be gone over. And I'm going to assume if these individuals are actually worthy of their positions, they're going to look into that. It says, while scant on details, Pulse pro-crypto comments come at a time when the U.S. housing market is experiencing serious difficulties. The number of mortgage organizations, i.e. the process in which a lender works with a borrower to form a mortgage loan, dropped to near record lows in the middle of 2024. Oh, my apologies. I misread the first little piece. It's the number of mortgage originations. My apologies. It was a long day. Very, very long day. But we got stuff done today. A lot done today. A lot of work got done today. All right now. And no, I didn't do any gardening today. That'll happen tomorrow. A little bit tomorrow. It's hot today. The drop in originations, and particularly in refinancing, has been attributed to several factors. Firstly, the supply of housing is not growing sufficiently to address demand. You also have a lot of large companies just buying up a giant amount of houses and then turning them into apartments. That doesn't help, but you're probably not going to address that, right? You don't want to step on certain individuals' toes because they have a lot of money that'll make you pay, right? Borrowing is also getting more expensive, and many have attributed the slump in originations to the Federal Reserve's higher interest rates to combat inflation. Okay, we're going to leave that one there. All right, so I want to get to this here before the video gets a little bit too long. So now, yeah, we're going to do this one. So this article is titled, "We are about to enter the golden age of crypto." I don't know why I did this so much. It's just I get into a flow. It feels good. Do this right now, like with the joint moving here, right at the elbow and then the shoulder. Oh, you feel that? Oh, that feels pretty good. That's like a little light workout right there. All right, it feels great. Some movements just feel good. Can we admit that? Can we not admit it? Because you may not agree. Okay, I respect it. I get it. I read that already. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Let me get back into the flow of things. Hold on. Regulation breeds stability. Stability fuels capital flows. With Genius Act passing the Senate last week, Washington has sent its strongest signal. Crypto is now an American priority. Right. But wait. When they say this, I know people say they see this word American, they start thinking about the citizens. Fair enough. But no, I disagree. When they say American priority, they're talking about the big money. The big money was behind holding crypto back that entire time. And now they're ready to flip the switch. They're ready to get involved. They're ready to play. They're ready to drive those prices up, because now that they're involved, they're not here to make pennies. They're here to make countless millions. Billions even, if they can, right? That's what they're here for. Anytime they get involved, that's what they're going to do. And that continuity of capital, even beyond the big money individuals, the companies, the central banks, the nations are going to ensure that whatever they get involved in, this is why it's important for people to do research. If they get involved with something, that price is going to be propped up a little bit higher, maybe much higher, I believe. This is on Tuesday evening last week. The United States Senate passed the Genius Act that we know it says for nearly 15 years, digital asset industry has operated in the shadows, because you put it there. But okay, we're coming to the light now. Powerful things cannot stay in the shadows. They must come to the light, because powerful and good things are light. Boom. Yeah. Good, positive energy, light. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like coming out of a dark room during the daytime. We all saw the impact of this with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs in January 2024. With this single decision, regulators opened the floodgates. Look how they're phrasing this. The floodgates between crypto and the broader global financial system. Yes, because they need it. They're in a position where they need crypto. They need how fast it can make capital. They witnessed it. They were jealous, very, very jealous, and they were salivating. Now they want to have their fill. Well, it seems we're all going to have our fill because they could not shake the strong ones. And so we remain. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.